takes my mind back to, I think it was 2008 when we did the original investment in Ordertalk. And at the time, which will sound weird now, but Ordertalk was really cutting edge. I remember seeing the first investment proposal, and it was a business with full online food ordering capability, which I suppose nowadays is par for the course, but at the time it was quite something. I remember being struck by the fact that they were PCI compliant. And for a little startup in South Africa to be PCI compliant and to store credit card information, it really made me sit up straight and look at the proposal more seriously. It was an amazing journey with Ordertalk after we invested. We finally sold Ordertalk in the first quarter of 2018, but quite a few different things happened in the decade in between. As technology progressed and as competition progressed, Ordertalk became less of a unique investment. Many competitors came up around it, and I was always mindful that at the day of realizing it, this could be a problem because it's not so unique anymore. Irrespective, it became a very successful company in its own right. We had good growth in Ordertalk. We had really blue chip, very large US clients. The company was profitable. But when it came closer to the time for exiting, I suppose it's where the rubber really hit the tar. I remember at the time the CEO had already relocated to the US, and I was called one day and he asked me if I could come and join him. We need to strategize and think through the exit process of the company. It was actually quite funny because I told my partners I needed to go to the US and we needed to go and solve a problem, but we're not quite sure what the problem is or how to address it. Anyway, I went to San Francisco, and this was late in 2017, and I met with the CEO, and our objective was to try and come up with something which will be a bit unique to the selling of Ordertalk. The challenge was that even though it's a successful business, it wasn't that big. And if we really wanted to get the attention of the big players, we needed to have something a bit different. Patrick's a bit like me. We spent a lot of time talking. We spent a lot of time walking around, trying to come up with something different. And one morning in San Francisco, Patrick suggested that we should go to a little town just over the Golden Gate Bridge. And we commandeered a taxi and we went over the Golden Gate Bridge and we went to this town called Sausalito. Very beautiful place. And we spent the day walking around. And late in the afternoon, Patrick said to me, you know that one of our developers, a South African guy, a brilliant guy who lived in Dallas at the time, he's come up with something very unique, a completely different approach to back-end integration. Like off the charts different. And I listened to the story, and I remember how excited I became about this because I just saw that was the golden thread to exit. That was the story that will get people's attention. And that same evening, we flew the developer in from Dallas to come and talk to us about his idea, which was just a concept at the time. The rest became history. We worked very closely with a firm on the East Coast, wonderful chap that helped us through the journey of the exit, the advisor. And 2 days later, after this information came out, we spoke to him and we said to him, "This is how we want to position Ordertalk, but at the cusp of it is this unique bit of thinking around back-end integration, and that's a key selling point of the business." and it ended up being a very big success. I think the story to me is it's not always that obvious. It's what you back in the beginning. Times change, and it's maybe not so unique anymore. And you always need to differentiate. You always need to have something different, and it will result in something good. The thing that we learned, or that I learned with that specific business, even though it had an incredible business model at the time, um, the challenge remained the clunkiness of back-end integration into point-of-sale systems. Many different point-of-sale systems, and with each version change, with every update, you've got a new integration problem. And to be very honest, I don't think I was sensitive enough to it when we made the investment, but I certainly learned. And we had to stay on top of that through the journey, to get it to the point where they could do smooth back-end integrations to make the rollout of the client smoother, to ultimately result in the success. We should never, as people, underestimate our inherent ability to be creative. And we mustn't shy away from doing things which seems out of the ordinary to get those creative juices flowing. Ultimately, the trigger point for the exit of Ordertalk was a whole day walking up and down the streets of Sausalito. And there's a world where if we didn't walk the streets of Sausalito, we might never have come up with that solution.